if you had a bell that had all this super bright tonality, you'd get better high-end feedback and really could hear yourself well. And that's absolutely what this thing does. And this is actually a 3500 hertz bell. And here is the 2000 hertz bell. And there was a whole series of these bells made in different shapes, but that would go on these two horns to create different tone colors. 3500 hertz, 2000 hertz bell, and then you've got what looks a lot more like a standard trumpet bell, okay, compared to this. You got that flare there. You have something kind of interesting here, and that's this flare. And so when you compare the two flares, hello, again, William Cardwell designed these all to have the exact same air column when you attached them to one of these horns. Here contained inside the ITG Journal, Volume 41, Number 1, October 2016, is an article on William Cardwell. He was the man that designed these horns. He did an incredible amount of work in the trumpet world, and this is an article about his legacy. It talks about who he was, what he did, what he designed. He was able to figure out mathematically how to predict intonation characteristics in trumpets according to the shapes of the lead pipes and bells. He also figured out what type of tonality characteristics different bell shapes would have. And here's the 4 different trumpets with the different bells. The top bell up here is a 3500 hertz cutoff. This here is the one that they did put on the CHR, and that's a 2000 hertz bell. This is a standard bell. Again, it's like a Bach 37-esque bell. And then the bottom one here is cutoff frequency of 850 hertz. And I leave it to the electronic or electric engineers out there to explain what the cutoff hertz means, because I don't know. I play trumpet. From the article, Olds Corporation urged Chicago Musical Instruments, Olds, to enter into a contract with Bill to apply his patented method to design a B-flat soprano trumpet. And the design finally chosen by CMI was marked as the Olds CHR Custom High Range and the Reynolds ERA Extended Range Altissimo. The final flare of the bell leaned more towards a C trumpet skirt than the typical soprano B-flat bell skirt. The intonation curve of this air column demonstrated well-aligned, very high, well-defined resonance peaks further into the upper register than the standard B-flat instruments, resulting in tighter slotting and marked pitch stability over the full dynamic range. In other words, this horn provided the player with more secure attacks in the upper register and one that was easier to keep on pitch during crescendos and decrescendos. Bill felt that the marketing of this horn as a high-range instrument was unfortunate, as expectations were unreasonably raised. Olds was very forward-thinking in what they were trying to do as far as creating horns that had different tone colors, so you could go play a cool jazz gig on this thing, get a very flugel-esque sound, or, you know, go out and play your lead gig on the 2000 hertz bell. compare the stock version of the production CHR, that's what this is, with the 2000 hertz bell. And we'll compare that to the 3500 hertz bell, which you heard earlier. So, very similar, but this doesn't have the bottom end. But right now, I guess we don't care about the bottom end. Let's look at the top end. A lot of sound and a really good feeling. Real good blow. There's more highs, and the high overtones coming off this bell are just blowing my ears out. It's amazing. Real strong, beautiful double B. Same thing on this, although getting those to lock in below the double B, a little bit more volatile on this horn. Oh man, the 3500 hertz bell, like way up there. What we're going to do now is I'm going to compare my Stomby VR2 lightweight to the Olds CHR and see what the comparison is like. Oddly enough, William Cardwell had his a piece of the puzzle of the design of this horn as well. He did do some testing to validate the intonation of this horn, and it did turn out to be extremely in tune. It's a very fine instrument, so absolutely a good comparison. I think maybe because there's a little bit more lower end support. You can see the difference in the bell right there. See the shape of it. There's a little bit more low end support in the VR2, so the body of those notes is nice and beefy. It's a sound I like. I think that this is an excellent horn. I think it, again, it's purpose built. It's got a lot of highs in it, and it feels good in that upper register. If it feels good there, it's probably easier to play. I think their claims hold true. Is it easier in the upper register than a lot of other horns? I think so. If you're looking for it to be your only horn, maybe. You know, maybe. It depends upon what you do. If you're playing in big band or salsa bands or commercial stuff in R&B bands, yeah, it'd be cool. But let's compare it to this, which is an Olds Studio, Fullerton, California, so out of the same factory. I'm sure this is a newer horn. I don't know what the year is on this. I think your B up there is easier on the CHR. Just, it's easier. My Olds studio model plays quite well, but I think the edge does go to the CHR. So is it a good horn? Yeah, it's a good horn. I think it's a good horn.